that man Fez is the realest youngin on this show. Straight up. Like, he is the hero, bro. He is the, not the protagonist, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has done something that's so simple, but meant so much in the moment that has me like, yo, like, on everything, we gotta protect this man. It's finally done started, bro. The year has finally started. I know we 10 plus days in now at this point. Maybe a couple more. Well, definitely a couple more by the time this comes out. But you know what I'm saying? Like, shows are starting to drop. Movies are going to get ready to start premiering, and the year is really like going to start going right because initially, like, you know, going throughout the week, there wasn't a lot of news and wasn't a lot of like wild stuff happening, especially this week. But as far as like in my sphere, whatever. But before I get into that, you know what I'm saying, let's get into this episode, man. Welcome back to the Why I'm Geek show, man. This is episode 50. Episode 50. I'm super excited about this because we almost at a year, bro. We almost at a year, and I got a special announcement for you guys that, you know, will kind of change the where this podcast goes technically, but not really because it's still on the same realm. But I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, man, let's get into this news because I got two things initially that I want to talk about, and then another two things that's like kind of just happened, or like not just happened, but something I don't usually talk about, whatever. But you know what I'm saying, I figured, you know, I might as well do it because, you know, it's just what needs to be done. But without further ado, man, let's get into the news right now. Alright, so for the news for this week, man, I only got a couple things, you know what I'm saying? Half of it's kind of sad, well, not even kind of, but it's sad, but it's also like, dang, that's crazy. And the other half is kind of like more, you know, in the realm that I usually talk about, you know what I'm saying? So the first couple things is R.I.P. Sidney Poitier and Bob Saget, you know what I'm saying? Sidney Poitier, I always knew who this was, you know, like, and it's like, I've always heard it say, like, they call me Mr. Tibbs, but I never, like, seen that joint before, you know what I'm saying, because that's just, like, before my time. But then we also had Bob Saget, who passed away as well, who was the Pops on Full House, which is something that I did grow up on. You know, I remember watching that joint at night, you know, Nickelodeon or whatever, at Nick at Night, and that's just like a part of the childhood, and it's just like crazy that, you know, Sidney Poitier was a little bit earlier, but Bob Saget just like pretty much happened recently. But I did want to mention those two because, you know, Sidney Poitier was the first black man to get an Academy Award or a Oscar, right? And then Bob Saget is just, you know, he's like a comedian and an actor. I only knew him from Full House, but you know what I'm saying, Full House was goated, so that's all I got on that. But you know, RIP to those two legends. And the next thing I want to talk about is Euphoria and Attack on Titan, bro. And the hype behind both of these shows lived up to it. Now I'm gonna get more into that on the actual weekly recap, but I did want to announce that they did premiere on the 9th, and then we also got Peacemaker dropping on the 13th. So literally I think it's this Thursday. I believe it's this Thursday. So like the day after this podcast comes out on the 13th, that's when the actual Peacemaker show will come out. But Euphoria and Attack on Titan is already out. Those seasons are back. And then we also got another episode of Boruto that dropped. So like every show pretty much that was on hiatus from the new year, that was already ongoing, you know, like they're starting to come back now. So we're going to have more to talk about. Because like I said, man, this joint is about to get ramped up. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, we're going to be in April. And, you know, we're going to be, that's when the movies are really going to start dropping again. But there's a lot out that's we still got to catch up on now. But as far as premieres this week and this last weekend, AOT and Euphoria did not disappoint. The other thing that I want to talk about is reaction content on Twitch. Now, y'all know me. I do trailer reactions on YouTube and stuff like that. And sometimes I do it on Twitch as well. But recently, the meta for Twitch and like the, bigger Twitch streamers era, or not era, but arena, I guess. A very big portion of people's content is reaction content, but not necessarily like reaction like, we looking at this specific video to react to this, like we're pausing it and we're giving our thoughts and like creating creative content based on what we're watching. But instead of that, it's more so of like a watch party, right? So you're sitting there and you're just watching the show. Yes, you might react to something that's going on at this moment, but for the most part, it's just like in the background, and you're just kind of just like chilling, so like that has been a thing for quite a while. Like I think not so much MasterChef is more of like a recent meta, but the other show, I forgot what it was called. Yo, what's good, y'all? I am pausing this video to let you guys know that we officially have a Patreon. Now, you might be wondering, what the heck is a Patreon? Well, let me lay it out for you. Basically, our Patreon is called the Genatoverse. And in the Genatoverse, you have the opportunity to not only get early content, but also get exclusive Patreon-only videos where we're discussing your favorite fandoms and also having dope conversations, bringing all of our communities across the whole metaverse, right? Because that's a thing now, and dropping it all in one place. Now, there are 4 different tiers that you can join. I don't care which one you choose, just know that your support is greatly appreciated. So tap in with us. Patreon.com/Genato. Let's get back to the vid. Hell's Kitchen is like a major meta on Twitch that, it wasn't until MasterChef, because I think that show is still going on. Like with Hell's Kitchen, like the season, that show is super old, right? So it's a little bit like, I don't know, it's just I guess it's not looked at as much, but basically youngins got body. So Pokemon got banned, which is crazy, and she's back now, but like she got banned for that. But she wasn't even watching MasterChef, she was watching Avatar, which is even wilder. Because it's like now, like I didn't realize, like I knew youngins was watching MasterChef because I just thought like, oh, they might have like, they might know about some type of deal that, Gordon Ramsay and the people at MasterChef have with Twitch or something like that. Like that's why everybody's just streaming this one thing. And I've even thought about doing it before, but it's like I've already seen a lot of it because I've watched it, because that's like something that I would put on. Like I would watch that type of content on Twitch. Like some of my favorite streamers used to stream Hell's Kitchen. You know what I'm saying? I would watch that while I was editing, and have that in the corner. And I will admit that I won't say their names because, what I'm saying, I ain't snitching out here. But like the type of stuff that they were doing, like they would get the chat actually engaged, right? Like with predictions and actually like adding background music and a whole bunch of stuff and creating this whole other thing. So like they weren't just like on stream and literally knocked out and just cashed out and just had the stream on, you know what I'm saying, as we were watching. Like when people were doing the whole meta where like the subathon would last forever, like the thing that like Ludwig really started, like people would just have shows like just playing throughout the night while they were sleeping. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like something I had already noticed. I was like, dang, that's wild. That just like, and it's like we don't know where the line is, and the line and the legal sense is like don't do it at all, right? But there's obviously ways to go about it where like you're actually reacting and and engaging with the content rather than just sitting there like watching. You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing, just having the chat go, respond here and there. But you know, it's gotten me to really think about how I create content, paying more attention to like different ways to go about it, you know, because like on YouTube, the copyright thing is already like figured out system. You know what I'm saying? Like it's already broken down. Like there's no getting around it. In a sense of like if you don't do enough, you're going to get copyrighted. And sometimes you just gotta take the L on it, because it's like if it takes away from the actual video, then it's like I'm gonna just take the L on this, because I'd rather just have the video out there so that people can enjoy it the way it was meant to be enjoyed. But I'll get into that a little bit later with the filler arc, because that's one of the things I want to talk about with like just how just in the new year, like things are changing and I'm starting to like really try to level up. But that's pretty much it for the news, man. Let's get into the weekly recap. All right, y'all. So the first thing I want to talk about is Attack on Titan, man, because we got back into the mix. We really did with this most recent episode. But like this was so hype. Like the hype was so real that I don't know how long it took for people to actually like be able to watch Attack on Titan, because literally like for at least for Crunchyroll, that joint didn't work. Like the time came, it was like 3:45 or something like that. That's when it was supposed to drop on like for EST, and that joint just did not work. Like the website would not refresh. They had some original like animated DVD or whatever that was like season 6 that was just like little side quests or whatever that I don't think I ever watched those. But it was super confusing at first, and I was like upset because I was like, yo, like what is going on right now? Like where's season 4 at? You know what I'm saying? And like was it going to be season 4 part 2, like a whole new section, or was it supposed to just expect it to pop up as the next episode, right? Because you know, episode 75 and the next one was obviously episode 76. So literally the site broke. Youngins could not watch it. But when I looked at Twitter, I didn't see anything. Like I didn't see people like going crazy because they couldn't watch the show, or like just upset because it's like, you know, like what is going on. But that joint was literally broken, you know what I'm saying? And it was really wild, but it did not disappoint, bro. This show was freaking like amazing. Like this anime, it's so layered, bro. It's so layered, and getting right back into the mix was a little jarring, because it was like, yo, like I haven't thought about this show in a little while. So trying to remember exactly what's happening and what's all at play, it's a lot going on, Brian. And the conclusion that I came up to in after watching the first episode is like, yo, you really can't trust nobody at this point in Attack on Titan. Like you don't really know where anybody honestly stands, because it's like any moment, like your opinion can change, you know what I'm saying? And the reason why I like this show is because there's no clear like good guy or bad guy, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no like clear, it's not black and white, it's all gray, because they've all done dirt. Like at this point they've all done dirt, and it's at this point it depends on like who do you kind of agree with the most, is like the side that you pick, you know, which kind of, when you say it out loud, it seems kind of simple in theory or thought, or you know, in whatever, but like it's a very complex show, and it's like it's interesting to see all these characters go through the different dynamics of like choosing, you know what I'm saying, like where their loyalty resides, you know. 1 minute it's like, yo, we're all on the same team. Next minute it's like, yo, we were never on the same team, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own goals and aspirations, and it just feels like finesse, you know what I'm saying? But like the first thing that we see is that man Levi, right, blown to smithereens, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was just like, dang, that man got bodied. Now obviously he can't be dead at this point because Hang jumped in the river with his body and wouldn't let them see that he's actually dead because like obviously he had some type of pulse maybe, but you know that man got blown to smithereens, but Zeke somehow gains new powers. You know what I'm saying? And is able to rebuild his body. And they're talking about just it's a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of lore that I kind of like. My brain's not really wrapped around right now, but it's still like interesting to see how things are starting to play out because now they got the royal blood, they got the founding titan, they got everything that they need. Now all Aaron and Zeke have to do is come together, and it's like trying to figure out who's actually playing the long game is what's really interesting because it's like, however this shakes out, it's finna be crazy, bro. And I will say, like, so far, this fight between Aaron and Reiner it's hype, but it's not like what I thought was going to be. I really thought I was going to see Aaron go body, like, really body, really body him because now that he not only has like the diamond power or whatever, like but from the female titan, but he also now has like the warrior titan, you know what I'm saying? So it's like got three of them things, like what's really good, like you could go crazy on him, but I kind of feel like he's like trying to buy his time to finesse everybody again. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it right now, but that's where my theory's at. But all in all, bruh, excellent first episode to bring us back into season 4 part 2. The next thing on the docket, what I'm saying, is the title screen or the cover art for this week's episode in Euphoria. You know what I'm saying? This man right here, that man Fez, is the realest youngin' on this show. Straight up. Like, he is the hero, bro. He is not the protagonist, but, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has done something that's so simple, but meant so much in the moment that has me like, like, on everything, we got to protect this man. You know what I'm saying? Because this man, Nate, has been terrorizing this community, bro, for far too long. Like far too long, bro. And he needed to get knocked out like that. Like, straight up. And I didn't think that's what he was going to do. Like, initially, I was like, oh, he about to kill this man. Like, well, all these people here, this is where you want to do it at? But man, like, this show was so wild because this first episode was basically Fez's origin story, right? We got into deep dive on just how he grew up from, the point to who his family is, and then also like how he got into the drug game, basically. And unfortunately, Rue got into the middle of it, and now she might be addicted to heroin. I don't know, but like, it was so much to happen, and so many like threads of story that we have to go on. I don't want to say too much right now. Only thing I really want to say is that Fez is the man. That's all I really got to say because that man McKay popped up in this episode, which I wasn't expecting. Like, like, he's home for New Year's and they're all at the same parties and stuff like that. But technically, Young's is still in high school and he's in college. It's weird, bro. The decisions, it's not really adding up for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. But Euphoria was freaking amazing. Boba Fett, like, Boba Fett was a good episode. I think that once we really start getting into it, we'll see if Boba really goes down the road of using not necessarily fear, but using force to really like get people to respect them. Because there's different ways you can earn somebody respect, right? So whether that's saving them from something that they've been fighting for a really long time, like the Hutts, I don't know, we'll have to see, or if it's just going to take, knocking some heads in. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to have to wait and see on that. But I like the direction that Boba Fett is going because we're starting to see more of, like, you know, when he kind of made that switch, right? You know, because Boba Fett, before Fear Bounty Hunter, you know what I'm saying, top of the world, like getting paid all the bread. But once he got kicked down, literally kicked down into the sand monster, got humbled real quick and understood, you know, how the actual Tusken people lived, and gained respect from them, you know, because they literally saved him in a sense, is like really cool to see, right? Because the Mandalorian had a moment with the Tusken people, and now Boba Fett has, and then I seen something where it's like now next up is Obi-Wan, right? So it's just like it's cool to see the different layers get peeled back more and more as we go into the Star Wars universe. I'm super excited to see, you know, what this Wookiee is going to do. I don't know his name yet, but I'm excited to see that for sure. And what else? It was some other thing. Oh, and I actually put out a poll. I talked about it last week, and y'all said y'all gave me the answer I was expecting, because I'm like, I don't think this is possible either. But basically, if you didn't get a chance to participate in the poll, make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. But basically, the question was, do you really think Boba is going to be able to rule with respect alone? And most of y'all said no, which is something I agree with. And I think it's a very naive idea to think that you can do that, because these people have been living in fear for so long, right? These people have been living in just in a society and a culture that they're used to, because Jabba has been in power for like, you know, I don't even know how long, bruh. You know what I'm saying? That man was old. And they're just used to things. And when you don't follow the usual script, it's hard for people to really get on board, because it's like, yo, like there's a certain way we do things here, and it's going to take some getting used to actually make it work. But you know, I'm excited to see the next episode and see where this goes, because the Hutts ain't gonna go away quietly. You know what I'm saying? The twins ain't gonna go away quietly. So, you know, we're gonna have to wait and see how that actually turns out. But I'm really enjoying Boba Fett right now. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is the Demon Slayer movie. So I'm in the middle of it right now, because they're doing an episodic on Crunchyroll for some reason. Like, they didn't put the whole movie on there, but it's like broke down the episodes, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Like the animations, bruh. It's just they just go crazy. You know, like the narrative itself of Demon Slayer is not that necessarily deep to me, but the animations and just like the way they go about the fights, I really enjoy. And I'm just like once they get past the like cruxes of building up a character and start to really break that character down, that's when I think I'm actually gonna start liking it a lot more, because at this point we're still learning a lot about these characters, and it just seems a lot of times, you know, throughout these fights, we get into similar scenarios where it's always the demon that is, you know, having a super realization or whatever, but never really Tanjiro, or never really like one of the good guys or whatever, right? So I don't know. I'm excited to see more of Tanjiro with like the fire breathing technique or whatever. I like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for not only just the Demon Slayer movie so far. I'll give it a whole review after I finish it, but other than that, that's all I really got for the weekly recap, man. Let's get into the filler arc. So, if you haven't noticed, you know what I'm saying, this podcast, this show will no longer be on the Janato YouTube channel. I have made a whole new channel for this podcast because of the YouTube algorithm. This is something I had suspected for a really long time, that was like, I don't know really how to describe it other than like a feeling that I get, because, you know, because I'm making this transition into making a lot more narrative content that is not so much just like copy and paste from the conversations that we have on Twitch to editing it up really nice, but starting to build upon that, right? I feel like last year, like I've said before, I was kind of playing the game on easy mode. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna start really breaking down things and getting more into the meat and potatoes of a topic rather than kind of just glossing over it. So with that being said, a lot of times when I would make a really good video and it would get a really good response, the next thing that would happen would be it would get halted because, or stalled out because the next piece of content that I drop is a long form piece of content, right? So like podcasts are not really built for YouTube, like in a sense, like unless you're building your whole channel on long form content, it doesn't really work in the whole algorithm. Like now, this might not have been the case earlier on, but how things work now, you know, YouTube loves consistency. You know what I'm saying? And when you break the pattern, you know, it's hard to get back on track and not necessarily getting the good graces, but it's just like a whole nother thing, and it's something that I'm constantly learning and I'm constantly like trying to figure out. So I've had this thought for a while of putting the podcast on a whole separate channel. It would be a lot more work, and that also will mean that, you know, instead of making 5 videos, I have to make 6. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it'll work because it'll also diversify like my presence on the platform as well, while also giving like this podcast a true home. And not to say that my YouTube channel is not a true home, but like a place where it can grow independently, but also like in congruence with everything that we do here, right? So like if you want more long form stuff, you know what I'm saying, boom, we got the Wine Geek channel. But then if you want more short form and like more of this, like with me, like my opinions and strictly that, because we're gonna have guests on the podcast. Obviously we've already had guests before, but we're gonna have a lot more this year. I'd rather do that on a separate channel, but then connect the two, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's gonna be not necessarily a rough transition, because I'm not claiming that, but you know, it's a transition that is happening, and I figure, you know, I might as well do it on episode 50, you know what I'm saying, because it's just like, that's a good number, you know. So definitely appreciate everybody that has stuck with us up until this point. The numbers on the audio side have been doing really well, and we're starting to see growth over there. And then, you know, you already know that we stream this on Twitch, and we're starting to see the same thing over here. So I'm super excited for, you know, just continuous growth and everything that you know, we going to do this year and for the future. But that's pretty much it. That's all I really got. It's gonna be a shorter episode this time because, like I said, next week we're gonna have a lot more to talk about because stuff is really finna start dropping. So definitely be on the lookout, man. I got a whole lot of new videos on the way. Like I said, like, we're stepping it up. We're going to the next level, bro. So stay tuned. If you enjoyed the podcast, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Also follow the Twitch channel if you want to catch this live. Leave a review on all your favorite audio platforms, and follow the podcast on those as well. And I'm holler at y'all in the next episode, man. Y'all be easy. You know the vibes. Always keep growing. See you going. It's me, boy G. I'm gone. Peace.